Digicel TV, home of rugby league. Dial *515# to subscribe.
Hello, I'm Tracy Pa with the Midday News. Oil palm growers in Kimbe gathered at the San Remo Club yesterday to share their views and concerns before they participate in this Friday stakeholders consultation meeting on the reviewing of the Oil Palm Act. The oil palm growers raised issues regarding major supplier companies and how they do not treat growers fairly, resulting in a lack of infrastructure projects in their area. Woman representative for the Nakanai district, Agatha Kapi, said basic services like water and health is not provided to them. A consultation workshop will be held on Friday to get the views from the growers before the review of the Oil Palm Act.
Policy be inclusive inside law. When you have bill, industry bill or management bill, law come up on the law way. Now, after 50 years, company go, I get Greece, but West Britain. Please, what is happening? I'm open, take what I saw after. Long way. Nami, bring now what's something. So, number 3, what I think me as a woman and water supply is health services. Pepe, Minister, my good minister, you talk, yes, a community center staff. We have run down health posts, run down health centers. We women are still suffering. Okay, now this is all get something when we come inside now time. We suffer, beginning from suffer, he gets on the street, law and order becomes worse. When you may help now learning this become a policy, then tiny mama sit down good, why I go inside, me sit down, me too by helping law educated beginning.
The second shipment of cattle from Lae Morobe Province was received at Keapara Central Province on Wednesday. Managing Director for Livestock Development Corporation Limited, Terry Coem, said the cattle have been traveling on the ship for 5 days. The 165 cattle will be transported to Laukalana Farm. It's good news for the people of Central Province and especially farmers, as the second shipment of cattle arrived from Lae Morobe Province Wednesday on the shores of Keapara village in Rigo District. Managing Director for Livestock Development Corporation Limited, Terry Coem, said the cattle have been traveling for 5 days.
We are here to welcome the second shipment of cattle that left Lae several days ago, and they were able to make it through to Milne Bay waters and to arrive in Central Province this afternoon. We are happy. We loaded 164 in Lae, including the ones from Sialong. And on the way to Port Moresby, one of the cows gave birth, so we now have about 165. The one that was born on the way to Central Province, one of the managers decided to name it as Keapara, so when it is big enough, we will bring it back to the place here. The landowner, the chief landowner, will own it, and it will remind him of the second segment of cattle that came from Lae to Port Moresby.
The cattle are from Sialum and Arab LLG in Morobe Province. They are headed for Laukalana Cattle Farm.
Laukalana holds about 4,000 hectares of land. We are hoping to increase the numbers up to 1,000 before the end of the year.
Coem stated that there is 130 cattle taken care of here at Laukalana. This will add the total of roughly 300 cattle taken care here for breeding and for distributing to Central Province farmers. Jasmine Ero Jack, TVWAN News. Central Province is expected to see an increase in meat production, especially beef, now that cattle numbers have been doubled. The Managing Director for Livestock Development Corporation Limited said this cattle program is in line with LDC's objective of increasing beef stock in the country and reclaiming all LDC's assets. In a previous interview, Koem said the Laulakalana estate is good breeding ground for cattle and other farm animals, including horses. The first shipment of cattle from Sialum in Tawai district and Arab in Uwan Gulf district was sent over in December 2022.
Of livestock, especially cattle in the country. While so many people are talking, we are working. So I would like to get everybody to stop talking and come and work with us, because if you do not do it, nobody's going to do it for us. You will talk until the sun goes down and the cows come home.
In regional news, the 22nd Melanesian Spearhead Group Leaders Summit opened on Wednesday in Port Moresby, Port Vila, Vanuatu. Leaders from Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu and Fiji and French territory, New Caledonia began discussion on issues common to Melanesian. The meeting opened with a plenary session. Prime Minister James Marape called on industrialized nations of the region to make real interventions to assist Pacific nations. He also came out strongly in support of the Vanuatu's move to seek the opinion of the International Court of Justice on climate change impact on the people of the Pacific. Environment and climate change security issues and trade agreements dominated the discussions. A leaders' retreat will end at the summit today for the leaders. An outcomes declaration will be signed at the end of the week. Known as the nation's food bowl, the Murray-Darling Basin produces billions of dollars of tourism, food and fiber every year. It is home to internationally recognized wetlands and provides drinking water to 3 million Australians. It's facing an uncertain future, with the government hopes can be saved through buying water from farmers to boost the environment. But farmers claim it could come at an expense of jobs and regional communities.
Green shoots a sign of future fruits. But Frank Damasi says he can't grow a crop without one key ingredient: water.
The more people can use that ingredient wisely to produce wealth and taxes for the country and for their families.
He fears the federal government's plan to buy water from farmers will mean less food and fewer growers.
Once you sell water, you're really out of the game.
A buyback happens when a farmer sells their water licence back to the government. It means water previously used for farming is instead left in the rivers.
If we don't leave enough water for fish to breed, for water birds to breed, and for rivers to flush salt out to the ocean, we actually end up with a declining river system.
There's less water, so you can grow less things like broccoli and milk and all of these things that we value.
The decade-old plan has already delivered more than 2,100 gigalitres of water per year for the environment. But another 750 gigalitres per year was promised by June 2024, and it's running drastically behind. Tanya Plibersek now wants to change the law to allow more time and to use voluntary buybacks to find that water. Laundry owner Rob Priestley worries about the impact on jobs.
This is going to cost thousands of jobs in regional Australia, and you can't compensate for that with some silo art or a bike path.
In South Australia, Karen Martin says some farmers might be keen to sell.
If your business isn't doing so well, or you're hitting retirement age and you've just had enough.
Buybacks, if allowed, could cost taxpayers billions of dollars and have implications far beyond the basin.
All Australians have something at stake here.
Ensuring a national resource is managed in the national interest.
The Queensland state government has moved to override the Human Rights Act and has introduced laws to allow more children to be held in watch houses. The surprise amendments came after a rally through Brisbane CBD where hundreds demanded for change.
We want change! When do we want it? Now!
The crowd marched to Parliament with a message for the Premier.
Help with Anna! Help with Anna!
The protesters wanting tougher penalties for young offenders and better support for victims.
We've been advocating and pushing for years for change, but there hasn't been any.
In the crowd was Lee Lovell, whose wife Emma died after being stabbed during an alleged home invasion last year.
In my own personal situation, I know that at times we felt very let down by the system with a total lack of support.
While her death sparked new laws to target serious repeat youth offenders and make breach of bail an offence, Mr Lovell says that's not enough.
I think you just need to start installing into people that there's consequences for actions.
Michelle Little, whose son Angus Beaumont was fatally stabbed 3 years ago, also had a plea for politicians.
We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't need to do this. Why aren't the people we put in power to govern us, to lead our state, to protect our community, doing just that?
Adding to the fury, the Premier couldn't meet the protesters. She was in question time.
Come out, Anna! Come out, Anna!
Away from the crowds and cameras, Ms Palaszczuk did meet with one victim of crime. Also behind closed doors, key ministers, the police commissioner and the opposition met with members from the advocacy group Voice for Victims, which put forward a list of reforms.
The key message is how can we support victims better? How can we give earlier support to victims? And ultimately, how do we avoid people becoming victims in the first place?
The state's first Victims Commissioner will start next month.
In sports, 4 nations, 1 prize, the chance to play at February's FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup in Dubai beckons for one of Tahiti, Solomon Islands, Fiji or Tonga. The whole FC Beach Soccer Nations Cup 2023 kicked off in Pepati on yesterday, while the first of 3 match days before the final on Saturday, August 26 at 4 p.m. Tahiti time. Tahiti, 2-time finalists at the FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup, are the defending champions and favourites. Head coach Teva Zevaroni says expectations are high for the ticket, but is doing its best to keep its talented group of players grounded. This ends the midday news. Join us at 6 for more.